Yo. Hey everyone, welcome back to the ship. My name is Senvo and I like video games a lot, and I like video game music also a lot. So I was on stream a couple days ago doing Chiptune Blender, which basically means that there's a wheel of a bunch of old consoles that spins and selects for us, and then there's a wheel that's got a bunch of music genres that spins and selects for us, and then we just make whatever comes out of that. Obviously, you looked at the thumbnail and you saw NES and metal on the thing, so you probably assumed that we got NES and metal, and that's where you're wrong. We actually got modern and metal, but then I re-rolled and then we got NES. I just thought modern was a bit of a cop-out, you know, like it just wasn't... I had one veto to use, and that's where it ended up, okay? I don't know what to tell you. You were there, you had to be there. Okay, so if we're done judging me off of your high horse and whatnot, then we can move forward and talk about what I actually did to make the music, okay? Okay. You're not done judging me? Okay. That's okay, fine. I guess I'll just talk about the music. So after getting it all set up and then starting the timer and all of that stuff, I decided to take a different approach to making, like, actually constructing the music rather than my usual method of just placing notes in there and seeing what happens. I went into Audacity and then I was basically trying to record melodies and ideas and stuff and jot them down and then import it and see if it worked. It did not this time. It was actually kind of garbage, but knowing that I can in the future do that as an option is super helpful. However, it just didn't work out this time. Under the time limit that I had and, you know, all this other stuff, it just didn't pan out that way. As you can see here, here's what that led to and the eventual destruction of it. You know what? Scrap this before it gets too hard. So my next plan was to actually grab my guitar and get my amp and play something, record it, and then put it in. Same thing, same principle of me using my mouth and composing something with, you know, a different instrument, but with a guitar. Because like we've, you know, you've likely seen in the thumbnail, we're doing metal this time. So let's use the instrument that is most associated with metal, the guitar. It was at that moment that I sent my chat into metronome hell. My life is a lie. Hold on. I am so sorry. That worked out way better. We ended up putting the wave file in there, and then we just sort of copied what I did with some liberties and better timing, obviously, because I'm not an expert guitarist or anything. But yeah, it was super helpful having that. Without that, I promise you, I was lost in the sauce. I was not going to be able to make this track. So the first thing after adding in the guitar sample was adding rhythm, because that was the only thing really missing mentally. So I ended up doing this super extremely elaborate roundabout thing where I basically got a drum kit out and then I sampled those sounds and then I put those samples into the NES VST so that it would play it through its compressed DPCM thing. Now, it sounds like garbage, but it's okay because, you know, metal is pretty distorted and stuff, and I kind of like the lo-fi vibe of it, so I just kept it, and then we added noise on top of that. So there's a pulse channel, pulse 2 channel, triangle channel, noise channel, and a DPCM channel, right? So the DPCM is just doing its drum things, the samples, and then the noise channel is layering on top of that, just so that we have a little bit more punch, I guess. We use it for a little bit more extra later on, but regardless. So about an hour in at this point now, it was time to add in some semblance of notes. So I started with the bass just because I feel like the bass would be easy to start with. No other particular reason. You can't volume automate the bass in a NES. So, I mean, you just put the notes in there and do what you can. Now, you can do crazy stuff with the bass on an NES, like drums wise, but we were already using DPCM and noise for the drums. So doing more for the drums really wasn't going to help it at all. So I just kept it to, doing the bass line and keeping it simple. So the next thing was adding the guitars, which were mostly mimicking the bass line, but obviously with different timbres and stuff, and slightly delaying one, and all kinds of, cool NES tricks that you do. But it started sounding a little bit boring. So my idea was to continue doing what I was doing, complete the structure of the song, but then go back and make it more interesting as time goes on. Because I really wanted the structure to be there before I started getting into crazy stuff later. As I was saying before, I was already an hour and 10 minutes in, so I gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, 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 faster. So after the second chorus, I was like, I don't want to listen to the same thing again. We need to do something different. And we decided to finally break away from the rhythmic patterns and then start doing some guitar solos and like some interesting stuff like that. It turned out pretty cool. I like that part a lot. And later on it leads into something even better, so. And that something better being the breakdown. Now, if there's one thing that metal is renowned for, is, brutal breakdowns and like slow halftime beats that come up and just, head-banging moments, right? So I really wanted to do that for this song, and that happened directly after about a minute and I want to say like 58 seconds, an hour and 58 minutes after we got it together, a full breakdown that I really was enjoying. The only thing after that really to do was to wrap it up, and then now that we had all of the structure there, to implement some nice melodies and stuff to go over top, and we would be good. Ironically, this turned out to be one of the more difficult parts to actually achieve, because with an NES, you only have so many channels, right? So I was taking from another channel in order to make what I needed to be. I just needed to make sure that the melody got through without sacrificing something that it needed to stay. And then on top of that, you got to write something that's interesting. I think I did okay. I think I did pretty good, but I mean, there's definitely better melodies and stuff that I vibe with more often out there, but I think at the end of the day, it made the track more interesting. Like if I just had to listen to what it was before over and over and over, it would be really boring. It would feel like it needed something, right? And that's that's the last thing you want to hear somebody to say when they're talking about NES music, right? Like, it just is unheard of. So lots of minor tweaks and like random little adjustments to timbres of sounds, and like seeing what actually fits better or fits worse or whatever. We ended up with this. Enjoy. Hey everybody, thank you for getting to the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. This song was super fun to make, and it kind of reminds me of, you know, the very first Chip Blender where I had to do Sega Ska and it was horrible. You should check it out. Also, I have an album out. It's not garbage. It's kind of fun. It's more drum and bassy, but you should check that out. If you want to hang out with me or anybody that, you know, is also interested in chiptune and stuff like that, come check us out at Discord. Also, check this out. This is super cool. If you say the words subscribe, it will light up. Look down there. Look, watch. Subscribe and like. It's weird, right? Right? Crazy. But you could also click those buttons too, because, you know, your boy's broke and ain't got nothing to go off of, because I don't even make money off of this channel at all, and I put a lot of effort into it.